let me tell y'all something. We do not despise mainstream media enough because I've got a collection of 3 different individuals, right? In 3 different interviews, or maybe not even necessarily interviews. I mean, a couple of them are. But mainstream media is absolutely, positively garbage. In this first clip that I have for you guys, I have Kristen Welker sitting down with, quite possibly, more than likely, the next president of these United States of America, JD Vance. And the way that she's asking the questions and the questions that she's asking, you can tell that you wouldn't be asking a Democrat these questions, and nor, even if you did, you wouldn't be asking them in this type of fashion. But to JD Vance's credit, he answers them very, very well. So with that being said, let's dive into this first clip between Kristen Welker and JD Vance, where she acts just like just the absolute silliest question ever. Check it out. Let's dive in.
Where exactly is the pressure on Russia to do anything if you're not right now imposing new sanctions? How do you get them to a place of getting to the table with Zelensky and stopping to drop bombs?
But Kristen, I think that question betrays a fundamental misunderstanding of where we are. The president has applied aggressive economic leverage, for example, the secondary tariffs on India, to try to make it harder for the Russians to get rich from their oil economy. He's tried to make it clear that Russia can be reinvited into the world economy if they stop the killing, but they're going to continue to be isolated if they don't stop the killing. The president has applied more economic pressure to the Russians to stop this war than Biden did in 3 years.
You know,
so the idea that we're not doing anything, we're already doing things right now.
And she had none of these questions for Biden. She had none of these questions for Kamala. She didn't bring Kamala in and start grilling her. She didn't bring Biden in and start grilling him. Just saying. Just saying.
We're already doing things right now, and this is how negotiation works. You do something, you talk to the parties, you try to see if there's a meeting of minds. Again, we believe we've already seen some significant concessions from both sides just in the last few weeks. We're going to eventually be successful, or we'll hit a brick wall. And if we hit a brick wall, then we're going to continue this process of negotiation, of applying leverage. This is the energetic diplomacy that's going to bring this war to a close.
Absolutely silly question there, but a great answer from JD Vance, who honestly is, and I said this before, who's really... I'm really gaining a lot of confidence in JD Vance, you know? And I said this in a recent video, and a lot of you actually agreed and said that, yeah, I was holding out a little bit on JD Vance as well, but it does seem like JD Vance very well may be the next guy, right? He seems like somebody that's not backing down, that isn't going to cower or apologize for anything, right? He is basically like a Trump light. Obviously, nobody could ever be Trump, but I think just the mentality of Trump is what a lot of individuals like myself. I want somebody who's unapologetic, who isn't going to compromise, right? Because we've seen Republicans compromise and apologize and try to, appease the Democrats. But when it's time for Democrats to do the same thing for us, it's never, the favor is never returned. So I'm done with that. I'm absolutely done with it. I want somebody like Trump, who says what he means and means what he says, and he's not playing any games, doesn't care what the Democrats want to cry or sob about, right? Doesn't care what the mainstream media wants to try to run, what story the mainstream media wants to try to run with. He doesn't care. He's here to get the business done that he said he was going to get done. It is that simple. Doesn't matter what the court says, doesn't matter this, doesn't matter that. He's going to try to figure out a way to legally get it done, right? And we've seen that time and time again. But I want to show you guys this other clip of JD Vance where he absolutely calls Kristen Welker out, and it's beautiful. Check it out.
A lot of people have already looked at this and said this looks a lot like retribution. Is this retribution?
Well, who has said it looks a lot like retribution, Kristen? A lot of people who tried to throw Donald Trump in prison for completely fake charges that were later thrown out by multiple different courts. I suspect that if the media and the American people let this case actually unfold, if they let the investigation unfold as it's currently doing, they're going to find out that what we're doing is being very deliberate and being very driven by the national interest and by the law here. And that's.
Now, I mean, common sense would tell you, right? At least my common sense tells me. And I know common sense may not be so common anymore, but common sense tells me that they're going to dot every I and cross every T when it comes to any and every prosecution that is brought upon these Democrats, upon these people, upon these traitors. Because any little tiny subtle crack in any type of case that they bring against anybody, right? The mainstream media and Democrats are going to drill into it. Oh my goodness, there's they didn't enter this into the evidence, and they are going to try their hardest to make the Trump administration seem as if they're really a dictatorship. I mean, they already have, right? So when it comes to prosecutions, they're going to take some time. Okay, everything isn't going to happen instantly. I expect it to be a slow process because, like I said, they have to cross every T and dot every single I, because if they don't, it could come back to bite them, right? And they know this. They know this. If Democrats can find any type of crack, once they regain power, which I honestly don't believe that they ever will, at least not for a long time, but if they did, they are going to try to come after these folks, Uncle Trump and the rest of them, right? So I think everything's on the up and up. Long story short, right? Now, let's get into this clip from, and I know, Kevin McCarthy with Dana Bash, because she does something similar when it comes to redistricting. Check it out.
California, Republicans vote 39%. They have 17% of the vote. They'll now be down to 6%. Democrats have 83%. You're very upset about Texas. You know what Republicans will have in Texas after they have 56% of the vote? About 72%. Do you know what the Democrats have in Illinois? They have more than 83% of the lines, and the Republicans are for. Yeah, but you haven't done one show on that.
That's not true. We do it all the time.
But Pritzker has. That's what Pritzker already did.
I just showed
one show on that.
That's not true. We do it all the
time.
But
Pritzker has. That's what Pritzker already did.
I just showed the map with all.
You showed the map then, but what did we do when Pritzker did about that? Each state has their right, and you know what? The Republicans in Illinois didn't run away from the state. You know what? In California, when they did that, we didn't run away. We competed. Nancy Pelosi was speaker, and I won the majority by 5 seats. And you know what? I won those 5 seats in California, which people believe it would be very difficult to do. Yeah. So I believe the voters should have the say. That's all this is about. And each state has their own constitution. California has a constitution, and we now have a governor that wants to change the constitution for his own political belief.
Bingo. Bingo. She had so much concern about Texas, right? And I know that was just a little short clip, but obviously there was a longer conversation. I believe the original video is like 20 minutes long, but I'm not going to bore you guys with all of that. You got the meat and potatoes of it, right? So to give a little bit of context, she was badgering on Texas, obviously redistricting, and Kevin McCarthy came back like, yo, Texas really wasn't that bad and really isn't going to be that bad even after redistricting. California is absolutely terrible. Illinois is absolutely terrible. And you never want to talk about these instances. And we have shown this clip, and I have talked about it. We talk about it a lot, actually. No, you don't. No, you don't. Not at all. Not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. Mainstream media and Democrats never created this uproar and this hoopla and this yelling and shouting whenever Illinois did it. They never did it when California did it. They never did it when any of these other Democrat states gerrymandered, right? But now that Texas all of a sudden is doing it, oh my goodness, this is terrible. Trump's panicking. No, Trump is just doing what y'all have been doing. And you're panicking because you can't do it in return because you know that you already gerrymandered everything. like I said before, it's going to be interesting to see this California map because it's not like California wasn't already gerrymandered already. That state voted 40-something% for Trump. We have 19% of the representation, if I remember correctly. How does that compute? How does that compute? It doesn't. Now, and they hide it behind, well, we have an independent redistricting board. And now Gavin Newsom is trying to circumvent that, even though that's what the voters wanted. That's what the voters voted for. These are the same Democrats that care so much about democracy. We love democracy. And yet your potential party leader is circumventing the democracy for his own good. But he's supposed to be caring about democracy. Okay. Next up, we have Abby Phillips with this ridiculous take. Check it out.
There is no evidence that there was some top-down order of political retribution in either the Obama or the Biden administrations. I'm gonna.
I believe his name is Van Lathan. Look at his face. He's a Democrat. For context, this guy is a Democrat. Look at his face after she says that. Even he knows that is a load, a pile, a steaming hot pile of crap. Check out his face. He couldn't even hide it. It's written all over his face. Goodness gracious, man.
Retribution in either the Obama or the Biden administrations. I'll concede to you that
But
Donald
they
Trump
made up like the Russian hoax, and they used information to go after Donald Trump to try to undermine his entire presidency.
Okay.
And they all signed their names to it.
Are you going to give me a second to talk or no?
No, but like you can't say that didn't happen.
Listen,
it happened.
The Russia hoax. First of all, was Donald Trump prosecuted?
They did it to impeach
was he
him. He was
prosecuted?
impeached over it.
Okay, so he.
That's
okay.
a big deal. It's called overthrowing the will of the people.
First of all, he was impeached over his handling of Ukraine. He was not impeached over the Russia investigation.
Over a perfectly good
That's
phone
the
call,
first
which, by the way, became accurate on Hunter Biden.
The second thing is, let me just read to you a list of people that Donald Trump and his top cabinet secretaries have said are going to be the subject of investigations. The special counsel Jack Smith, former FBI Director James Comey, former CIA Director John Brennan, Senator Adam Schiff, AG Letitia James, President Barack Obama,
they abused their power.
Governor Phil Murphy,
and
Representative Monica McIver. So there is a list that comes right from the top. I'm not making this up.
They put themselves on the list because they weaponized the government to attack their political opponents.
So in one case, let me just say, in one case, you all are making connections based on conjecture. In another case, Donald Trump is just saying the thing. So those are two very different situations. Okay, the IRS.
So Obama didn't know what was going on in his government? He didn't know what his.
If you can provide me proof that Barack Obama directed the IRS to go after Tea Party groups, I will concede that to you immediately.
If you can provide me proof that Donald Trump
doesn't
called
exist.
the FBI today and said go in.
That proof does not exist.
So by Abby Phillips' logic, right, by her thought process, in order to know that it's raining, you have to be told that it is raining. If the meteorologist does not tell you on the news, right, that it is raining, well, then how are you supposed to know that it's raining? They didn't tell you that it's raining. You don't have 2 eyes and 2 ears and a brain that God gave you that to figure out what's happening. You don't have those, right? You have to be told what's happening. In order for you to know that it came from the top down, Obama and Biden had to say it. They didn't say it, of course. See, Trump said he didn't like these people. Trump said these people were going to be investigated. So that's how you know it came from the top down. Biden and Obama didn't say anything. So, you can't say that it came from the top. Like, what? These people make no sense, bro. No sense. Zero, zip, zilch, nada, nothing. Oh my goodness, bro. You got to be told that it's raining in order to figure that one out. Wow. That is shameful right there. That is shameful reporting. Shameful reporting. CNN should be pulled off of the air with commentary like that. Pulled off the air. Pulled off the air. What? You can't put two and two together? Like, what? Bro, does anybody else just find that laughable? Like, are you serious right now? You serious? Simply because they didn't say it, it's not true. The meteorologist didn't say it was raining, so it's definitely not raining, even though I'm standing outside and I'm soaking wet. It's not raining, though. Oh, man, that is too funny, man. That is too funny. We don't despise mainstream media enough, boy, I tell you. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. Y'all get in the comments, let me know what you thought about it. Make sure you guys also go and subscribe to the second channel. It is called Extra Rich. The link will be down below in the description box. Hope to see you guys over there. Peace and love. I'm out.